We're going to continue with the Chofetz Chaim, a daily companion to concepts and laws of proper speech as formulated by the Sefer Chofetz Chaim. And this is titled A Historical Perspective. The Chofetz Chaim opens his introduction with a brief historical perspective of the sin of Lashon Hara. Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's learn some history. Lashon Hara has the distinction of being the first sin ever committed. We know that the serpent, the snake, enticed Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. To accomplish his aim, the snake utilized a classic Lashon Hara approach that is used even today. This is what he said. You should know that the boss is jealous of you. He's stunting your growth in the company. You really are as good as he is. You ever hear that before? Someone comes over to you, a coworker, and says, hey, your boss is keeping you down. You're so much better than this. You should be number one, man. You should be the manager. He's stunting you. He's holding you back, man. You hear this all the time. In this case, the boss was Hashem. The serpent told Chava, or Eve, that all Hashem had to do to become the creator was to eat from the tree of knowledge. He drew the logical conclusion that if Adam and Eve were to eat from the same tree, they would become just like Hashem. Obviously, reasoned the serpent, Hashem did not want competition, and that is why he forbade Adam and Eve from partaking in the tree's fruits. So the serpent went over, whispered in Chava's ear and Eve's ear, and said, hey, eat from the tree, and you will become like Hashem. And the only reason why Hashem doesn't want you eating from the tree is because he doesn't want you to be competition for him. He doesn't want you to create worlds and so on and so forth. The particular method which the snake used so successfully was a combination of Lashon Hara and gossip. He claimed that Hashem was not concerned with their best interests and that Hashem was merely using a ploy to keep them from competing with him. We know all too well the result of the serpent's evil words. We know what happened. The gates of the Garden of Eden were closed shut. Bang. Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden. Difficult toil to produce food became a lot of men, while childbirth, pain became the lot of women. Death was introduced to the world. On man's very first day on earth, Lashon Hara had already demonstrated its destructive power. Pain and toil were caused by Lashon Hara on the first day of the world. The Chofetz Chaim puts it nicely. One who speaks Lashon Hara attaches himself to a practice that destroys the world. We shouldn't say Lashon Hara. Destroys this world. The very first exile of the Jewish people was directly related to Lashon Hara. The Chofetz Chaim states the main reason for the Jews' suffering in Egypt was Lashon Hara. We're doing this week's Parsha. There. Shemos. Learn. The Chofetz Chaim states, we did this. Yosef spoke Lashon Hara about his brothers. He did. Therefore, Hashem decreed that he would be sold into slavery. His punishment is that he would be sold into slavery. Further, in the Torah, we encounter an event of catastrophic proportion, and we suffer from its consequences to this very day. As the Chofetz Chaim puts it, the underlying cause of our present exile was the sin of the spies, Meraglim. When they went to Eretz Yisrael for the first time to scope it out, to check it out, they gave bad reviews of it. And when they gave bad reviews of it, it was Lashon Hara. Such is the damage which Lashon Hara has wrought in our people's history, the first sin ever committed, the underlying cause of our morality, the catalyst which caused the Jewish people to be exiled in Egypt, and the cause of our exile today. With this powerful piece of Chofetz Chaim conclusively dispels the myth that Lashon Hara is relatively harmless.
Are you ready for questions? Yeah.